Hi everyone. So welcome to one more session of Office 365 today, and my name is Rizwan. I am one of the senior consultants with Alif Consulting, and this time we would be talking about the Office 365 calendar and its permissions. What is the requirement for calendar for a business purpose, and what's the role of it in day-to-day activities, and how does it gets worked with Office 365, and is being handy to be able to use this as an additional or as an alternative tool so that our emails are not the emails specifically, the meetings and tasks could go, and that definitely walks you through with the flowing with the email, because whenever you send out a meeting, definitely it's an email which gets triggered to the other people, to the attendees, and they get an option whether to allow it, to decline it, or send no response. So starting with it, yes, it is all about calendar. And if you would see why calendars in Exchange Online and what is the requirement for that. So, unlike your normal physical calendars wherein we discuss or we plan out our day to day activities within our working hours, what time or what course of actions needs to be taken care if we are working with someone senior and juniors, what type of tasks are being assigned to the juniors and what job is to be taken in from the senior and how to get it aligned and to work on it. So that is all dependent on meetings and planning. So the very most in the foremost tool which is being used widely across exchange platform is calendar. No matter even if you go with the other email services like AWS, Yahoo, Gmail, or some other provider like HostGator, Hostinger. So all these providers would also be giving you this option of calendaring. Now, how to use and explore it, that is a different story. When we are speaking specifically about Office 365 calendaring and the role of it, so yes, we are going to speak on it as which all options does it gives you and how you can access it using your webmail, using your desktop client, or even if it is a third party web browser based client or a mobile phone, so how you can access it and what are the features of it. Okay, so by using your calendar as it states in, you can actually create an appointments, you can create an events, you can also organize your meetings. So let's say if you were to be the organizer, definitely the meeting has to be go through from your side, and it should be asking you to enter the meetings to the attendees. Now, when it comes to the attendees list, there are two options: required and optional. And to whom attendees you would actually like to keep it as required. So for those folks, yes, it is a mandatory thing that they needs to be a part of that meeting or that event so they can join it. And ultimately at the other side, it is totally been an option, I would say a choice for the recipient, because the recipient would be getting in this invite, and within that invite it is going to ask it that whether you would like to accept this meeting, you would like to decline this meeting, is there any conflict. So it gives you all these features and functionalities over there. However, more trained people and more the ones who deal in with day-to-day activities with calendaring, they first check the calendars of the attendees whether the person would be available at that time, or he would be or he or she would be occupied with a specific set of a meeting, or whether there would be any conflict. So that is also taken care with the help of an auto discover service called as FreeBusy, which shows you the information whether this person would be available at that designated time or not. And on the basis of that, you can plan out your meetings, and accordingly, if the person gets in a conflict, so it is to him or how the exchange administrator defines whether the conflicted meeting should be automatically cancelled, or it is totally on the user itself wherein which meeting the user would be attending. So it completely goes on like a user based functionality. But yes, for some automation processes, you can also get it done using some PowerShell scripts, and you can make your exchange understand that for my organization, if there are any conflicts meetings with any of the user, do not ask the user, directly decline that meeting. So these options could all be configured either by an exchange administrator or by the global administrator of the organization. Now, as of we have discussed in the previous slide here itself, that these are the uses. You can create appointments, events, you can organize your meetings, you can use group schedule. So for whom this option would be usable, let's say if there's any assistant for any of the manager. So the manager's job is to get the update from the assistant stating what all meetings or what all schedule I'd be having today and what is its time being scheduled for. So automatically the assistant is going to schedule those meetings and is going to inform to his or her manager stating that we have these forms of meetings at this and this time and we need to be a part of this meeting. So it would then be the job of the scheduler or the assistant as if how the messages are being widely broadcasted or categorized, and on the basis of that, yes, the manager would be taking its ultimate decision whether the meeting needs to be attended or not. But yes, this is the feature or an important aspect of Office 365 calendar. And the fourth one, which says view calendar side by side. So unlike if you have attended my previous section on view mailboxes, so even if you would be having a full access to any one of the calendar, so you can also access the calendar for that person. And let's say if you need to have a calendar viewed for a specific person, so yes, you can just select his calendar, or that person should be allowing you to be able to see your calendar. And if all those necessary permissions are allotted to you and have been given to you, you would be able to see the other person's calendar. Now that is a second thing, that what all permissions you would be getting, whether it would be a view only permission, it would be a delegated permission, it would be an edited permission. That's a different story. But yes, as a mailbox which you can access, you can also access the calendar of someone else's mailbox or someone else's calendar, and you can easily check what sorts of appointment does this person has. Usually this job is being basically given by the managers to their assistants, and in some of the cases you can also take this option for investigation or investigative purposes. Now we would speak about different type of calendar permissions. So as itself says, reviewer. So what does this permission means? It is unlike the edit only permissions, wherein you would be able to have the access of someone's calendar, but you would just be able to view those meetings and invites and whatever the entries which are being saved onto that person's calendar. You'll not be able to make any modifications to that. If you need to have the modifications, you either need to have the editor permissions or the author. So or the author here means is that the person who would actually be creating that meeting would be marked in as author, and that is a slight parameter which you would be able to get it seen through with the help of PowerShell command. And yes, these permissions can given either through the Outlook desktop client from permissions, or you can also give this permission from from the Exchange admin center or from the PowerShell. So this permissions in over here. So if you have your own mailbox and you want that some X person should be accessing my calendar, so you, even being a non-administrator, can actually do that. The Exchange administrator or the global administrator can also do that on your behalf. But yes, literally along with it, you can also get it done for your mailbox. So this is all about permissions, and we are quickly going to see as if how to check it first using Outlook, because this things gets in change when you get it from Outlook as an end user. And yes, if that works in, if you need to give the permissions to any. So if you see in over here, so I have, this is my personal mailbox, I mean my primary mailbox. And let's say if I need to check in with the calendar, so I can usually go to the calendar field and check in with all of my calendar. So this is my primary calendar. Okay, and let's say if I need to give access to any one of this, I mean if some other person in my organization should be accessing this calendar, so how to give this permission? You simply need to come down to the properties tab, and you'll see a tab called as permissions. So these are the permissions, and by default you see this is the permissions which we were talking about. You see author, reviewer, and owner. So owner one, editor one would most likely be the same, but the things which we have decided, they are the only three permissions. So these are all custom level permissions which are from the server side. So you can assign these permissions, but yes, you're not going to see these permissions in the webmail. And if you are going to give more customized permissions on a granular level, you can also use these permissions. And if you need to add any one of the person, you can just add that person from this group. Let's say if I need to give it to this mailbox or to this object. So this is selected. Now which permissions should be given to that person, that should be selected from here. So it should be giving you the options all to be able to get it selected, whether I need to make author to this person so that this person adds my calendar and would be able to make any changes. If I'll be making him as an editor, so it'd be able to add all these meetings of mine. So this is how you configure these permissions, and this is free busy. So this is not going to show you any such things. If you would be having any such scheduled meetings at that time, it is just going to show you that this person is busy at that time, and if there is no conflicted meetings or any such meetings at that time when you would be booking in, it would just going to say you that this person is actually free. Okay, so this is all from Outlook's standpoint. And similarly, if we need to get it done on Exchange Admin Center, so this is the webmail. So if I would be opening my webmail and I click on calendar, and if I want someone to be able to access my calendar, I would click on this share option and click on calendar. And you see right now this person is an external person, and I have given this permission that this person can actually view my details. So I've just given view only permissions. And let's say if there is any insider person, let's say shared, so I would be adding this permission, shared permission. Now once I've added the email address, it is now asking me which all permissions I should be giving this. You see the only three things which we discussed on the cloud, whether it would be a busy permission, it would just see the tiles and location, or it can see all the details. You can give this option. Or let's say if this would be an added user, if we would be adding it some else's email address, let's say I want this person to be able to make changes with this. So this time the option gets changed because that's what is a shared mailbox. So shared mailboxes cannot log in of their own and cannot create in meetings. So that is why it was just showing those limited options. But you see, free, busy, and this is the option, can edit. So this person, if I would be giving in the permission to this person that yes, you can make any modifications to my calendar, so we need to give it this permissions. If it was just to see the details, it would be editor. This is the I'm sorry, reviewer permissions. So that is can view all details. And the third one would be delegate. The moment I'll click on delegate, so there's also a thing called as private item. I can mark any one of my item in as private. So even if I would be making that item private, and if I click on view edit, the person would not be able to see the private items. I need to be a delegate for that mailbox. And being a delegate, I need to check this box so that also my private items are being viewed by this person. Usually these options are given for like a manager and assistant kind of a solution where managers would be giving in this permissions to their assistants, and they would be making in all these changes, so they do not have to walk in and do this on daily basis. This would be the job of the assistant. But yes, it has like a one time activity which always needs to be done from the manager, so that the assistant starts working on it and can manage everything, every resources and stuff on his manager's behalf. So this is all on how you can have access on to the calendar and its permissions. If you have any questions with this session, feel free to contact me on info@alifconsulting.com, and I would be more than happy enough to answer all your queries. This is it for from my side for this session. I wish you enjoyed watching this video, and if you have any such queries or any such thing which needs to be clarified in the form of doubt, you can surely contact us. Take care of yourself, stay safe, stay blessed, and wish you a very great day ahead. Bye bye.